Okay, so in this video I'm going to continue the candle project. So you've already made the base of it, and it's 4 inches by 3 by 3. And if you choose the orbit tool, which is located all the way on the bottom here on the top of that section, okay, and I click and I drag, you see you can look around and see that it is indeed a cube. So that's a handy little tool there for a look around. Now, I have my dimension here listed at 4. If I want to add additional dimensions, the dimension tool is located here. It's under this second one down, and you can dimension things by when you light up a line, a complete line. Click and then drag it down. It will measure end to end of the line to end of the line, or you can go point to point. So click once on a point, click twice on a point, and that's another way to dimension something. So you can see that it's 4 inches by 3 by 3. So the base is ready to go. However, if I try and move this out of the way, none of this geometry is locked together, meaning that this line and this line and this line and this line, okay, are still independent, as well as this face is independent. And let me show you what I mean by that. So if I click on the Move tool and I try and move this entire cube, well, I can only select lines and I can only select faces. Okay, so if I try and move it by grabbing this line, I clicked on it and I start moving it, it actually will deform just like it was made of rubber. So I've now grabbed it by that corner, and wherever I move it, it deforms. Okay, let's Control Z to undo that. And the same thing goes with faces. Okay, as you see, it just lights up the faces, and when I grab and pull and try and move it, okay, it's like it stretches it out. Okay. So that's not the way we want to do this, because we've already built this to this dimension. We don't want to change that dimension. So we got to lock these dimensions in place. So the way we do it is by creating a component of this. So just like your wood is not just a bunch of different lines, right? It's a solid item. So we want to solidify this by making it all a component. So we need to select all of these individual items. So you can do this by clicking on something and holding the Shift key down and clicking on the next one to add it, and so forth and so on. Okay. However, that's a very inefficient way of trying to select all these things. So SketchUp allows you to select multiple items in a couple of different ways. So one is by clicking on something and then right-clicking, and you have an option here called Select, and you can select the bounding edges, connected faces, or all connected. I'm going to select all connected. That means that everything that face was touching, or touching that face, is selected. Okay, so now I can right-click again and make that into a component. Okay, and I'm going to change that name, and I'm going to name it to base. And it's always a good idea to name your components so you know what you are selecting and touching. Okay, so that's one way to do it. So let's undo that. Okay, so now I've undone what I've just did. The other way to select everything is to, if I click once, I select only a face, or I select only an edge. If I click twice, it selects the face as well as all the bounding edges. If I click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it selects everything. So that's what I want to do. All connected, selecting everything by clicking 3 times in rapid succession. And then if I right click when I'm on top of it, again, I can make it as a component, and I'm going to, again, change the name to base. So either way will work, and now I have a component. So this component now, whenever I select it or I try and move something, if I use the Move tool here, now when I move it, okay, I move everything together because it's all locked in as a component. Okay, so Make sure you understand that concept as we go along, because that will serve you really well. Okay, so in the next video, we'll show you how to build the rotary top part, which is the shaft, the one that we're going to turn on the lathe.